He is a radio network analyst of the Washington Redskins and one of our favorite guests in our podcast history that this show has been born out of. He's none other than Chris Cooley. How are you, Christopher?
Rich Eisen, what's up, my man?
I am better for talking to you. You still pranking people?
No.
You're out of that game?
But I just got off the phone with someone who, I think you know the person. I'll leave him unnamed.
Okay.
Wants to get back in.
Get back into what?
Get back into the prank call game. He may or may not work, around you. So it could be old Rich S. time here coming up in the next couple months.
Okay, now we need a little bit more meat on the bones here. So you just got off the phone with somebody who wants to prank call me? Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm not going to prank call you. I told you, though, I owe you one because you kind of got me last time.
Oh, Chris,
but my phone broke up a little bit.
You try to get me one time where you did two things. First of all, you have the worst fake voice of all time when you try to fake your voice. That's number one. And then number two is you didn't block your number. I have your number. You know what I mean? Like you're in my phone. So it shows up Chris Cooley. That's what it showed up.
Yeah, that's fine. I mean, it was really all in good fun.
That's all that matters.
I didn't use some other radio show host to call me and offer me some fake job.
Okay. Well, we're gonna work on all of that stuff, Christopher. By
the way, Steve Smith's not Utah State. You know that, right? Steve Smith's Utah, isn't he?
Oh, is he? I thought it was Utah State. Is he a Ute? I thought he's Utah State.
Chris might be right.
Really?
You better be careful on that one. No, he was not.
Oh, my God. Is Steve Smith, he's a University of Utah? I thought it was Utah State.
Yeah, University of Utah.
Oh, my. I'm glad I got my mistake out of the way here on this show instead of in front of Steve Smith because that, anything's fighting words to him sometimes. He'll take it that way. So, Chris, what would you say is the Redskins' 2017 season? Walk me through what you would consider this season to be so far at 5-6.
This is a really good football team that's battled so many injuries, Rich. They have been decimated throughout the entire season. You start on offense. We played a game in Seattle that they actually won a month ago with only Sean Laval healthy on the offensive line. We had 4 of our starters out for the game. We had 6 players out on defense for that game. Our first-round pick, Jonathan Allen, has been out. Jordan Reed's been out a lot of the year. Terrell Pryor, never really had a great year, is now out for the year. And you run down a list. It's incredible. The team that started the season and the team that's here. But here's what I see, and this is in all honesty, and I'm a homer.
I knew that.
But this is very true. This is no made up. They want to win for each other, and they play for Jay Gruden, and they play hard. There's something to this team, and even if they win 5, they might not be a playoff team. But I actually like this team. So I think it's really cool. I think they're a tough team. I think they've gotten better. Kirk's gotten better. Everyone's improving. It's been a tough game. But I do like the team.
So Jay Gruden is not coaching for his job, is what you're saying?
I don't think so, no.
Okay, because the team, the front office knows that they play for him hard, regardless of what's going on. All right, so...
The front office likes Jay Gruden.
Okay, does the front office like their quarterback? What do you think?
I think that they've underestimated their quarterback. And I know that sounds crazy, but I really do think they've underestimated their quarterback. From 2 years ago in contract negotiations all the way through this year when they put out the statement trying to make him the highest paid player. And you look at it and you say, well, really, that's kind of not the case. I don't believe there was a report from Ian Rappaport last week that said the team is evaluating Kirk over the last 5 games.
Mm-hmm.
I know that didn't come from our team president, Bruce Allen. I don't know if it did come from someone in the organization. I don't, because you never really want to question that. But I know it didn't come from Bruce Allen. And I also know that they're not really evaluating his last 5 games. They know who he is.
Well, I mean,
but so here's the deal. Sorry, I know I cut you off. So here's the deal.
No, go for it.
Jay hasn't paid a quarterback. Bruce hasn't paid a quarterback. Dan hasn't paid a quarterback. Eric Schaefer, who does their contracts, has never really paid a quarterback. I think they're underestimating the gravity of what the quarterback position is going to be paid.
Well, I mean, they're paying him some of the most out there, and the amount of money that Kirk has made over the last 2 years, if they had decided to sign him long-term 2 years ago, they could have been paying him less guaranteed. But, I mean, that horse has already left the barn. Chris Cooley here on the Rich Eisen Show. Who is Kirk Cousins? And that's this. Let me finish the setup to the question this way. The guy who made 2 incredible throws in Seattle to win that game and pull it out, right? The guy who lit up in the Superdome to go up 15 on Drew Brees, and that wasn't his fault that he handed it off 3 times in the one lone possession in between the 2 Drew Brees touchdowns. He did get them in a position to win that game. Or is he the guy that couldn't finish against Philadelphia in Week 1, or the guy who barely beat a Giants team that who knew at the time was moving on from Eli? Who is Kirk then, Chris?
So this year, Kirk, I think, has been his best year. I think he's grown. I think he's played with really a lack of a group around him as opposed to what he's had in the past. He's kind of consistently battled through his other guys getting hurt, made plays. He's got a new play caller in Jay Gruden, and it's the same verbiage offensively. Here's where he's really grown. He's grown in the areas that he lacked over the last couple of years, more than I've really expected. He's making off-schedule plays. He's scrambling. He's finding the deep throw down the field more times than not, which I think is actually really important. Last year, for example, his yards per attempt were downfield were most in the league. Like he threw the ball per completion more downfield than any quarterback in the league. So can be somewhat skewed statistically, but this year, truly, Rich, he's not missing things downfield. And I watched it close. I watched every game on film, like all your guys. He doesn't miss much. He's been really, really good. And he's had more sacks. That's one negative. But he's had so many linemen hurt. Like last week, he had Trent Williams out, and he had Sean Laval out. We had our third center, Tony Bergstrom, who came into this team 3 weeks ago, in for the game. So more sacks, but different offensive line, less weapons, better production.
So what about tonight? Who's in there tonight? What Redskins team we're going to see in this building?
Yeah, I think Trent Williams is going to play tonight. I think same guy, center Tony Bergstrom, plays tonight. No Jordan Reed.
Well, I mean, that's just what's going on with him?
He keeps pulling his hamstring.
He can't stay healthy. But Vernon Davis is unbelievable.
Jordan had a toe deal at the beginning of the year, right?
Right.
I don't know if you knew that. Anyone listening, he had a toe deal. And it never really got that much better, and it really bothered. I talked to Jordan yesterday, and it's really bothering him, and it's making it the way he runs and moves overcompensate. It's been a hard year. He's really frustrated. Jordan is. I mean, obviously anyone would be, but Vernon has really stepped up and done some nice things.
Ask him the poll question before we send him into the Dallas Day to come into this building tonight. Chris, go for it.
Chris, which 5-6 team in the NFC has the best chance to make the playoffs? Cowboys, Redskins, Cardinals, Packers, none.
What do you think? Now, knowing what you got in front of you here, you know that the Redskins do have obviously an easier schedule. Nobody above 500 currently remaining on their schedule.
The Chargers are going to win the AFC West. Chargers are a good team.
No, I'm talking about the NFC right now. What do you think about
that? The Redskins play the Chargers next week. They're not above 500.
Oh, okay, good. All right.
So I think Green Bay has a legit shot because they could get Rodgers back. He's out there throwing 50-yard passes a week ago, and they have a pretty easy couple weeks. But they also play Detroit, which is going to be critical. The thing for the Redskins that's tough is even if they win 5 in a row and get to 10-6, tie-break scenarios make it pretty tough for them to get in. A lot can happen. I do believe they could win out. But I think there's going to be a 10-6 team, Rich, that doesn't make it this year.
And are you surprised? Are you surprised how well Sean McVay is doing in Los Angeles?
No.
You saw it, huh?
I'm not. I mean, yes, to some extent that they're as good, but I'm not surprised that they're having success. I thought he did a great job with hires. I thought Wade Phillips was awesome. They were already very talented on defense, and so. I looked at this year for him and said, man, if Sean can just score 20, he's have a pretty good year. Just 20 a game. And Sean's going to score 20 a game. As good as they are, maybe a little bit surprised, but he's the best I've been around.
Well, I mean, but in terms of, hey, 31. Look, I mean, you never know. I mean, if the Seahawks keep winning and then the Rams get kicked into a wild card race, it's bad for the Cowboys.
That would be a scenario.
But the Redskins already have, and when the Rams were putting 30 on everybody in the first 6 weeks of the season, the only team that held them less than that was Washington in Los Angeles. So,
I know, and the Redskins ran the football like 65% of the time in that game.
And we'll see P. Ryan tonight. Chris, great chatting with you, as always. Let's hope
too,
to
Rich.
run into you tonight. You got it. Thanks for calling.
For
That's
sure.
Chris Cooley at the Cooley Zone on Twitter.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern on Audience.